I like standing outside for no reason. I think it's time to check the news. You deceitful bastards!
Time to say goodbye.
Don't bullshit me, Sega. Hey, what's happening, chaps? My name is TapChap and welcome to the TapChap Show. It's no real surprise to discover that Sega has announced that we're going to be getting a Sega Genesis Mini coming out in September. Everybody's getting a Mini these days. With the popularity of the NES Mini, the SNES Mini and the... Not you! It's no surprise that Sega wants to get involved. But I think they forgot that they already made a Genesis Mini. Or a Mega Drive if you're going to be that guy. This, my friends, is the real Sega Genesis Mini. This thing is actually an emulator box, but I know that this beautiful machine will dominate whatever repulsive abomination that Sega are going to push out now. We know the truth. This boy. This is the superior version. But I think the real question on everybody's mind is where the hell did this thing even come from? Well, we can thank a little company known as Radica for that. What began as creating souvenir games for casinos, moved on from there to make toys and even video game devices like this one. These were the same guys that made the Q20 thing, remember that? Fucking smart ass billiard ball looking motherfucker. And they brought out the toy Cube World all those years ago. Literally, little box with LCD screens and the little stick man lived inside it. You could collect more cubes and attach it to your existing cube, allowing it to roam around between them all. Think of it as The Sims, but with minimal effort. So shit Sims. They first came out with a similar plug-and-play system called Play TV, which had, I can only assume, basic in-house made or ripped off ROMs of football, skateboarding and baseball games. However, over time they really stepped up and came out with this bad boy, which had licensed Sega games on it. Hang on, let me check this real quick. Did they do any more? Look at Wiki here. Sega, yeah, I got that, and Tato. Oh yeah, they also did Tetris, apparently. Also, this is all I got. There is so little information about this thing out there that a history lesson is over for today. Your homework is to write an essay about how you can fuck off. Fuck you, kid, you're a dick! But anyway, let's have a look at the console itself. Any gamers of a certain vintage or have a very robust knowledge of classic video game consoles can take one look at this thing and see that it was loosely styled off the Gen 2 Sega Genesis, or Mega Drive. It's certainly a lot smaller. Hey, you small like Ouija's wee-wee. It's small enough to fit in one hand, although it is a little chunky, but we're talking about 2003 era tech in this thing. Have you seen the phones from that era? You could kill an elephant with that thing using a slingshot and the power of stupid. All the cables going into the console are hardwired, meaning they stuck. They aren't going anywhere, so when putting this away, you really gotta go old school and wrap the cables up. Following along one of them, we find, Jesus Christ, this is old. It's RCA. Well, actually, no, it's not even RCA, it's RC. We are going way back with this. No HDMI in sight here. We have the video input and one wire for the sound. Yeah, you know this is a cheap plug-and-play console when they couldn't even give it the use of your other ear, the savages. But down the other end, we can see that there's actually a pretty nice recreated Genesis Mega Drive controller, casted in a lovely, nice red. It's just red plastic. It's the right shape, and the buttons are in the right place. It's just a shame it's got the consistency of a tortilla. Seriously, there's nothing in this controller. It feels so light and flimsy. I can only imagine the tiny circuit board and the two sides of the plastic being all that's in this. Okay, I know it's a plug and play system that takes a bag full of quarters and the hopes and dreams of orphans to produce, but look at the Genesis Mini to other plug and play system controllers. See, if I can't beat a man to death with it, then I don't want it. And of course, the staple part of any plug and play system, it runs on batteries. Yep, you stick some AA batteries into this bad boy and you can play your Genesis Mega Drive anywhere. It doesn't even come with an AC plug, but it does give you the option to use one if you have one lying around the house somewhere. That's right, kiddos. This is before everything could be powered by USB cables. You probably won't believe me when I tell you this, but this thing powers on with the same batteries that were put in all those years ago. It was hardly used and was a huge shock to see that it still turned on. If this is not a sign from God that this is the true gaming experience, then I don't know what is. And just a little side note here. All the footage you're about to see was recorded on battery power. I'm dead serious. This was never plugged in once during the recording of the footage on this thing. And speaking of that, let's not dally-dilly with Sonic's Willy, let's get into this. When you click the power button, the system boots in mere seconds and we're greeted to this whopper tune, pal. There's only a few seconds of a loop to it, but it's still pretty nice to listen to. I've heard worse, believe me. This is our main menu of sorts. It's here where we can select any 6 of the classic Sega titles. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Echo the Dolphin, and some other fuck wobblers I've never heard of. But I doubt there is any other way to play some of these lesser known games than on this fantastic console. Please, join me. I can contain it no longer. Let us begin. We get a serene moment of peace as the game begins to load. We get to bask in the silence and enjoy the delightful aftertaste of what we just heard, and get to process the wondrous piece of music that graced our... Have the delightful choir fucked off yet? Yes, we have Sonic 2 first up on the machine, and you know what? It doesn't look half bad. It doesn't look half good either, but I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt here. It's on RCA, going through component cables, going through a HDMI, being thrown up on a 50-inch TV. It's gonna look
a little shit.
Now, back in the day on the magical moving picture boxes, this looked fine, because this was designed to play through TVs like that at the time. Go look and see if any TVs in your house still have these kind of sockets anymore. It's actually nuts to think this is pretty much extinct now. There are better alternatives now, of course, but at the time, this was all we got. Even the PS2 had them, which just reminds you how old the system is. But as silly as it sounds, this thing was awesome, especially if you didn't have a Genesis Mega Drive when you were younger. This was a great way to experience classic Sega games, long before our time. Hell, it was through this that I got my first real look at classic Sonic. Until this yo came along, I had only experienced Sonic Heroes, my first and only Sonic game I had played at that point. Yes, right, folks, I even missed out on Sonic Adventure. Calm down, right? I had a PS2 growing up, and that was it. I missed out on the Dreamcast, and I missed the GameCube. I was only a baby. I only gave a shit about San Andreas and Power Rangers. As I've said, graphically, it's decent. I mean, I can't exactly hate on the system with how old it is, and the fact that it's a plug and play system, it's kind of something you just expect. But it does still look spot on though. It's not altered in any way to make it run better on the lacking hardware, or it's not been modded or hacked, or even a knockoff game. It's a legit version of Sonic 2 licensed by Sega, and even on this hardware it looks exactly like the original game, which is astonishing really, and it runs great. There's no slowdown, it's smooth enough, a little janky when you get up to speed, but again, the connections aren't ideal. But everything else is here. Great music, great stage design, Tails being
fast as fuck, boy.
when you decide to stop suddenly. I actually love how unpredictable Tails can be in the classic Sonic games. One minute he's fine, then he falls behind, you get stopped by an enemy or hit a wall or something, and Tails just arrives like... He's either doing that, or just letting life decide his fate. Whoa, Tails! No! Hang on, little buddy! Don't let it end this way! No! Oh god! Why? My only real gripe with this emulation is there seems to be slight delay between when you hit the button on the controller and when it actually does something on screen. Now, being someone that's never played Sonic on the intended hardware on a Mega Drive, I'm not sure if the delay is on this, or if the original system had a slight delay to it. I'm leaning more to the former, but I don't know. The only way for me to know for sure is to play the original, or have someone who has played the OG Sonic 2 try it and see if I'm right. I won't be. I never am. Other than that, I have no real issues with it. The whole game is here. If you really wanted to, you could play through the whole Sonic 2 on this system. But if you've had enough of super fast blue hedgehogs... Ah yes, the pure and wholesome adventure of a friendly yet curious dolphin. Take in the breathtaking views. Listen to the serene music. And enjoy watching these beautiful, playful dolphins playing with the... Jesus! So that's what they got the idea for Sharknado.
Just like Sonic 2, you're given the entire game of Echo to play through, which is honestly really surprising. You're just so used to plug-and-play systems being the literal definition of ass, with unfinished, broken, buggy, modded, or half-assed games being on them. So honestly, this is a real shock to see licensed games in full. You would think that even if Sega allowed their games on these systems, it would only be demos of the first few stages or something. It's actually kind of awesome. I won't go into too much detail about this game, or the rest of them for that matter, because I'm here to talk about the system itself. If I went and reviewed all these games in full in this video, we'd be here till... Insert preferred massive time frame here. What can I really say? It's Echo the Dolphin. You're a mammal with a hole in his head.
Maybe dreams can come true.
The physics really reflect nicely, even in this emulation. He's nicely weighted, there's a real sense of momentum when you fly out of the water, you can turn him into Tony Hawk. You can even feel like more of a loser when you realise that he can talk to other dolphins and is officially more sociable than you are. Then we have columns. It's fucking Tetris, what do you want from me? Then we have the ooze. I have never heard of this game, from anywhere or anything. I didn't even know this was a thing. It helps a bunch when the game only gives you a hint of the story through stills, but I have studied this for a long time and I think I can finally piece together the story of this game. You see, Milo-Thestrum Atlantis were working for Domestos in a new form of super bleach that can kill that 0.1% of germs that still remains in the toilet bowl. Things were going well until Kingpin walks in and he's like, "You like applesauce?" And then he spreads some relish on his arm and he's like, "Oh, fuck, relish!" Then Kingpin drowns him in Nickelodeon Gak and you become the new mascot for the company, feeding on rats and possibly small children. I should write a children's book. This is a really weird one. You're literally a green blob in what I can only describe as a war zone, with upside down candlesticks farting flames at their asses, Rice Krispie cakes, and AA batteries. The enemies in this game are these weird slugs? And you beat them by firing yourself at them. How would that even work?
Who the fuck drank the last of the milk? You fucking goober.
The goal of the game, I'm guessing, is to make yourself as large as possible and find Kingpin and gack him. I'm assuming because I didn't finish the first stage. I was confused, scared, and was killed by a slug. My life seemed meaningless, so I quit. We're almost there now with our second to last game on this wonder box, called Gain Ground. Well, that's nice. A little lacking on the presentation there. Just kind of starts up like it didn't care, and then it was like, "Fuck the little shits, the game is done now. I'm gonna go play in traffic." Whee!
Willy, no! What was this fucking idiot?
Then to add insult to injury, there's no story explanation either. It just throws you in head first. As you can see, we have 3 characters that we can choose from here. Doom Guy, Electra, and Baraka. The game doesn't start until you select one of them, so let's go with this fucker. You're literally just left in this field with these friends and have to work your way up the screen. You have to gain ground. Oh my god, I get it! And that's it. Really, these fellas are in your way and you just have to take enough out to allow yourself to pass. If only it were that easy. Each character has their own projectile to use against their foes, but if they didn't control like ass, it would be much easier. Everything feels so stiff to do anything. Movement in general is a little heavy and unresponsive, and your attacks are pretty delayed. Plus, on top of that, projectiles are so slow. What is the purpose of this? Doom Guy fires 3 bullets with the B button, and then fires 1 bullet with the C button. They both go the same distance too, so... What do you mean? Electra fires 1 bullet and throws grenades upwards. That's it. She can only throw them in one direction. Why? Baraka here uses spears. Fucking spears! The C button throws them normally, but the B button throws a slightly bigger spear that gets thrown higher, but goes less of a distance. The only thing he's good for is spamming like a bitch. And I also have to add, you die in 1 hit. So you have to dodge all of this bullshit. Anytime you use up all 3 characters, you use a life. But fortunately, it will start you off the beginning of the stage you died on, which you will do a lot here. I mean, look at this. How are you meant to dodge all this? Shit, I died again. Frustrating. Now I have to start again. What the fuck is this? She's like that bug lady from Cortal Wombat, and apparently she throws boomerangs.
She's an exchange student from Australia and she's trying.
I've never seen her before though, she's never popped up previously. I don't even know where she came from. I died again! Right, fuck this. I'm storming the castle, I'm finishing this bitch. Fuck, shit, ass winkles. I got this, come on! And now we're on to Alex Kidd. He looks so dandy, doesn't it? It's bright colours, bouncy music, Master Roshi, and... This is a quaint little title. The epic tale about a kid on a planet that decides everything on rock, paper, scissors. We're looking at the next Game of Thrones here, people. Just imagine it.
You killed my father, you monster. You must pay for what you have done. He had it coming. He stole my animal crackers. My fucking giraffe was eaten by a crichton. That's it. Shit. That was for my giraffe, you wee bastard.
You play as this... kid? I don't know, it could be the sprite, but he kind of looks like...
Monkey.
It's really hard to tell the difference. And you pretty much just run to the right and enter rooms to play, what else? Rock, paper, scissors. And it seems like random chance what will win at first, but if you go back in and play the counter to your opponent's first pick, he will pick the same one as before and he will lose. And from these games you can get various items and tools to help you on your way. And this game makes this feel like a huge deal with the fanfare you get at the end. Oh yes, how could I forget? You die in one hit in this game. And your only real defense in this is a Power Rangers kick. How kicking a car makes it explode is a science I really don't want to dive into right now. It's really weird because the gravity and weight of your character makes everything seem slippy. You slide around the place no matter where you're standing, and it makes getting away from incoming enemies the issue because you can't really see them. And by the time you turn around, they're right behind you and you have to run away like... You can win tools like these by winning the games. Things like a pogo stick, a stylish bracelet, Doctor Strange's cape, a helicopter, and a fucking bike. You know, the regular items you come across in such various games in video form.
Who the fuck plays rock, paper, scissors for a helicopter?
The items do pretty much what you expect them to do. The pogo sticks make you bounce higher, to reach spots you can't reach normally, and the stick here allows you to...
Fuck this, I'm out. Fuck you!
Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Rude.
Help me, Cap. Fuck you.
So I think the Sega Genesis Mini is pretty good. It really is a standard piece of equipment compared to the other plug-and-play consoles of its day, and really it did exactly what the NES and SNES Mini did, albeit at a much lower quality. It almost seems like a bit of a test run. A long, running test run that maybe Sega forgot about until they saw what Nintendo were doing with their mini consoles and thought, quick! Refresh the designs! Dig up all the old shit! We can make money on this and... I mean, yeah, the system is a little bit outdated, and I mean, come on, with hardware and shit like this, it would never make it nowadays, but back in its day, it was pretty good. And I think it still kind of holds up today if you have the right TV for it. Sonic and Echo are really nicely emulated on this, although it is a little bit sluggish, but again, I don't know if that's just down to the hardware or if maybe the original games were like that. I don't know, I've never played one, so I don't know. As for the other games on the system, I can't really speak for them because I've never even heard of them before. I didn't even know those games even existed until I plugged this thing in and gave it a whirl. But it was interesting getting a look at what some of the older games in the late 80s, early 90s were like. They're really fucking weird. Really weird. I mean, all things considered, the system is still alright and you could use it in this day and age. You would just need a CRT TV to use it, because it's got some decent games on here. There is a blue version that I do own as well. It's just hidden away in a toy box somewhere. But if you guys are really that interested, I can take a look at it and show you what's on it. Let me know in the comments down below. I guess no other sort of collector's pieces. I mean, if you really wanted them, there's a few still floating around online on eBay and Amazon and stuff, but with what you get, it's not really worth the shipping and the cost of the thing as it is. So, I don't know. It's up to you, my friend. It's up to you. Yes. When the Sega Mini Drive officially releases in September, people will have no use for these. You can play some of the games that are on this and more, a lot more, at a lot better quality. So, just buy one of them. You're better off. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish I could stick around, but I kind of got a demon to exercise here. But, you know, I guess I'll see you in the next video. So, I mean, if you're... Hey, what's happening, chaps? It is TapChap here. I just want to thank you so much for watching this little video. I'm glad you made it to the end. You get a special internet cookie for making it this far. Do with it with what you like. But it's the nice cookie, not the terrible I'm going to steal your information and sell it to companies for monies kind of cookie. It's also low fat, so you don't have to worry about it going to your thighs. If you really did enjoy this video and you want to see more content from me, you can click on either of the cards that are on the screen right now and it'll take you to my 2 previous videos. The one on the left being my most recent video talking about the video now, and the one on the right being about Mickey Mouse Killer Hemorrhoids. I can't pronounce the game title, just ignore me and click on the link if you want to just, you know, find more about that one, you know, do whatever you like. And if you're 100% sold on this channel by the end of this video, then how about you click the subscribe button and become a fellow chap yourself. You want to stay up to date on all TapChap things like progress on videos, random thoughts, what I'm playing, then you can check in the description below for the link to my Facebook and Twitter. I tend to post to Twitter a lot more though because Facebook's kind of poopy, but the option is there for those of you that don't have Twitter or don't like Twitter. I usually post there when the videos go up, so you'll always know when a new video is coming out. Well, that's gonna wrap things up, guys. Thank you all once again so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hasta la bye bye bye.